We're in Butterdine Woods again. It's difficult to go much further afield than this. I was up at the Hopes Reservoir earlier on today, and the car park, the gate's open, but there's lots of signs up saying the car park is closed. I was going to go for a wee walk up to the dam, but I don't want to leave my car there. I kind of see where landowners are coming from with that. As a species, the human race, it's not very good at looking after the environment. We tend to behave individually and not pay much attention to the collective harm that we do. I don't want to sound all preachy, but yeah, I don't want to be one of those people on Bournemouth Beach or on Portobello Beach or in the meadows leaving brown square burnt patches because I'm too stupid to understand how a disposable barbecue works, or to pick up my litter, just the expectation being presumably that someone else will do it. I don't want to be that person, so probably a good idea to stay local. I've been quite busy these past few days with the Scout Hall toilets. I get all the glamorous jobs, which is why there hasn't been a video this week. There'll be a video about that, and then I'll try and put this out as soon as possible. We've already looked at the equipment that you need for an overnight camp. I thought we'd look at the equipment that you might need for a day hike. It's possible that when we return, a day hike is the kind of thing that we'll be able to do straight away. We'll have a look at my bag and we'll see what's in there and give you an idea of what you would need when we're doing a day hike. This is my day bag. It's smaller than my overnight bag, obviously. This is a 35 litre bag as opposed to the 65 litre bag that I had saw before previously. Not here, but in the woods. Again, we have lots of pockets on the outside. Good comfy shoulder straps, and importantly as before, because you're not carrying as much weight and this doesn't take as much weight, however you still want to get as much of the weight as you can onto your hips and off your shoulders, so a good padded waist strap is a good idea. Now, I've got things in here that you would need to take, because normally I'm, unfortunately for the people in the group, in charge of the group. So I have things in here that the group would use. So I've got a group first aid kit. Usually I'll have a map, I'll have navigation stuff. And just for today, to pad out a wee bit, I've also brought my Trangia, make a wee hot drink, show you how that works. Normally you would take a packed lunch, or sweets from the shops, or whatever you find. You wouldn't normally take a Trangia. You can if you want, it doesn't take up much space, and it's something to do if you're in the countryside. So let's have a look at what's in here to give you an idea of what you might need. First things first, the weather these past few days has been very changeable. We've had thunder, we've had lightning, we've had rain, we've had glorious warm sunshine. It's been difficult to sleep at night. It's about to rain again, so with that in mind, and you're in Scotland, it's really important that you have waterproofs and have them in a pocket that's accessible. So a lot of, if you're out walking, there's a lot of debate about, it starts to rain and you think, oh well, I'll put my waterproofs on because sod's law. If you put them on, it will stop raining. If you don't put them on, it will rain even heavier, so just put them on. If it does go off, you can take them off again. So waterproof trousers. My jacket's already waterproof, so I've just got these. I've also not brought gaiters because I don't think I need gaiters. Also in this top pocket I have my hat, my comedy hat. Again, this is just really annoying if you're out walking and it's quite windy and it's cold. The wind, it can give you a hell of a headache. Or maybe it's just because I'm old. Maybe if you're young you wouldn't get a headache. Maybe it's because I'm going bald. Either way, a hat is a good idea. I've got two hats in this bag because hats can blow away, and that's kind of how I am. So be prepared and all that. What else? Also have a base layer just in case I get cold. It's always a good idea if you're out walking not to have one or two thick layers, but have several thinner layers. That way you can tailor the clothes you've got on to how hot or cold you might be. So I usually have like one or two layers in a jacket. If I get too warm, I can take a layer off. The other thing to note is wear a long sleeve top. You can roll sleeves up that you've got but you can't roll sleeves down that you haven't got, so it's just a bit more flexible. Also, it's lovely and sheltered here, out of the wind, but if we are walking anywhere where there isn't that type of shelter, you'll be glad of that little bit of extra cover. So, new base layer there. Now we're getting into the more things that I would carry, maybe that you wouldn't carry. One of the things I always carry is my brolly, because it's just handy to have. It doesn't take much space, quite light, it's just a good idea. I've got a cup. Again, normally wouldn't have a cup, but because I've brought my Trangia, we're going to have a hot drink. I thought I'd bring my cup. So that goes there. Torch. It's a good idea to have a torch. You don't know what's going to happen, so if you are out and about, it's a good idea. Maybe not a massive torch like this. This is the first one that I found. But just have a small torch just in case you get held up and you end up out in the dark. It's just a good idea. Again, it sits in the bottom of your bag. You probably won't need it, but it's a good idea if for signalling, or if somebody falls down a mine shaft or a well, or if there's a total eclipse of the sun. Torch. I have a map. This map's gone. I have water. Again, if you were, I wouldn't normally bring this. I'd normally bring a bottle of juice or something. But water is for the Trangia, so fluids, really important. A number of times I've been out walking in groups and someone has left the water or juice in the car, and there's nothing worse than being miles away. You're miles away from anywhere, you don't have anything to drink, and it makes your thirst even worse. So always remember water. I've got this, and I've also got in a side pocket where it's accessible, that. Now, a lot of people say, oh, fizzy juice, it doesn't hydrate you properly. It doesn't. It's very refreshing though, and it's made from mostly of water. So unless you're like running a marathon or something, it's as good as anything. However, having water, just plain water anyway, is a better idea, because you can't like wash out cuts with Diet Coke. I'm sure you can, but I don't think it would work as well. So it's always a good idea to have water. Next out, your camera. You need a camera. Of that, just in case it's going to rain. I have my first aid kit. Now there are a number of problems with this first aid kit. Firstly, it's black and it's not marked as a first aid kit. It's just that I put it in my first aid kit and the bag broke, so I've put it in, and yes, it is a bum bag. I apologise in advance. It's not my fault. Someone forced me to have it. It was, saw a big boy came over and threw it at me in a bum bag, and it's not my fault. What bum bag? I don't know what you're talking about. So in here is first aid equipment, but also there's all sorts of useful things that if you're on a day hike would be handy. A box of matches, emergency whistle just in case. The other things that I have in here that are handy, that you might not think to put in a first aid kit because it's usually all about the plasters and stuff, are these foil blankets. These are, if you do find yourself out overnight, and it's not unusual, maybe not round about here because we're like literally 3 miles from home, but if you're out and about, a couple of foil blankets, they pack up really flat overnight. If you need to be out, it can provide you with a great deal of warmth. So I have 2 of those. I have a silver one and a gold one. I don't know why I've got a silver and a gold one, but what else have I got in here? Safety pins, in case I need to do any sewing while I'm out and about. In the main compartment, it is as you would imagine. What I would suggest for you is just to have some plasters, maybe some antiseptic wipes. You don't need to go overboard. I've gone overboard. I've got plasters, bandages, and as an extra I've got chiropody felt. No, I've got chiropody felt, pass. Zinc oxide tape for sellotaping gaping wounds closed, and other bits and bobs, but mostly it's plasters and gloves and stuff in there. I suppose the most important thing you can take with you is some expertise. So that's me finished, isn't it? I'm joking. I have a first aid certificate, but it's a good idea to get kind of informed about the things that you might need to do if you're out and about. I'm totally aware that this camera is like wow, wow, wow in terms of focus. What can you do? Other sundry items, some tissues, just a good idea if you need to go to the toilet. Also here I've got my Trangia, that's the main section, empty. What's that down there? Some bits of straws. Got straws. Don't know what they're in there for, but they are. Other items are, in the side pocket here I have gloves. Not such a massive thing in the summer, but in the winter. And if you're out overnight, it might be an idea to have gloves. So, and again they're light, so they go in. Gloves. And then we've got fuel for my Trangia, which can go over there. What else have I got in here? Now there's a couple of other things. These are the things that you would normally forget, and don't worry, whenever you go anywhere like this you will forget something. It's just a given and you just have to live with it. But I've got some side pockets here down on the belt section, and I'll show you what I've got in there. So on this side I have, this is in the waist, thing that goes around your waist. I have wee pockets here which are really handy for, there's one on either side. So in this side, I have a compass. Do you know, it's quite funny because in this day and age you don't really need a compass. If you're out and about, you've got any number of apps on your phone, you've got line of sight if you're never that far away, but by gosh, if you get lost and you don't have a compass and a map and the press get wind of it, it doesn't matter if you would never have used it, if it makes no difference. People get very judgmental about that, so even if you're not going to use it, always have a compass. So at least when the press, when you get off the rescue helicopter and you're like really sheepish and embarrassed, and the press say, oh, you didn't even have a compass, and you can say, yes I did, I'm foolish in other ways but I had a compass. In this last pocket I have a penknife. It's just a penknife. I got this quite cheap out of Decathlon I think, and it's the sharpest knife I've ever bought. It's proper sharp. It's one of the things about having a sharp knife. It does make it easier to cut things, unfortunately though, including yourself. Sometimes it's better to have a slightly duller knife, but this is sharp. Anyway, always a good idea to have a knife, because again, you never know when you need to hold up a post office. No, that's not right. No. So if you need to whittle or cut or whatever, cut sausage, not post offices. I think that's everything. Yeah. Other things that might be handy, I've got poly bags in here for if clothes get away. There's my other hat. I've got a rain cover for the bag. This bag's quite old, it's probably not waterproof anymore. Oh wow, there's some food in here that might be mouldy. Hold on. I've got some of these. What's the date, sell by date on these? Oh, see that? Oh, 30/06. Wow, how fortuitous is that? 30/06/2020. That's amazing. I could have those. It's a good idea. This is what I've forgotten. No, I put these in. I just haven't found them yet. I did put food in here. It's a good idea to have high energy food if you're out walking. Chuck in some Haribo or something. Sugar there for energy. I've got a train timetable. It's from 8th of December 2013 to the 17th of May 2014. Might be out of date. And I have a Hobnob snack bar. What's the date on that? No. Yeah, that might not be good to eat. So that's kind of what you would pack. Again, you don't need to pack a sleeping bag or any of that kind of stuff. That's what your foil blankets are for. If you do need to stay out, maybe build a shelter and then burrow under your foil blanket. Another mistake I've made in coming out is that I'm all in black. It's like I'm going to a funeral. I've got dark grey trousers on, a black jacket. I don't think this has got any reflective panels on it. I'm going to say not. It's a good idea to wear something bright if you're going out walking. If you do need to signal, if you get stuck or lost, it makes you a lot easier to locate. I would recommend something bright, a bright orange or yellow jacket. I seem to be dressed like I'm going in stealth mode. I don't know why that's happened, because I'm not a stealthy person, really, you know. What I might do is, because it's not started to bucket down with rain, is set my Trangia up and have a hot drink, because it's Sunday night, I'm doing nothing else. It didn't even rain. Yeah, can I get a taxi for Brown? Yeah, Butterdean Woods, quick as you can. Oh, it's awful here, it's like damp and there's creepy crawlies. Yeah, I hate it. Okay, cheers, see you soon. Bye now, bye.